Hello everybody and welcome to today's episode of Content and Creations. Now, in episode 10 here, we are going to be getting into some of the Ogre content. The Ogre contest has officially begun, though I'm not 100% sure exactly the extent of it, but we have the style guide and people have started building stuff. Now, I'm honestly really into what we've seen for the Ogre style, and I feel like it's actually something we probably could have pulled off even sooner. It seems like it's the same level of tech that people were putting into making the Dark Elf stuff that we'd have been able to pull off awesome Ogre stuff, but we've learned so many techniques since then that we'll probably be able to do things that are way more awesome, and likewise the tools have gotten way better since then. So I don't really have an Ogre build lined up here. I accidentally logged myself in and kind of left myself in a funny place there. Whoops. Beta bug. So with the last update we actually got a lot of cool things, one of which being the optimization, which rather the multi-threading, which to some people is kind of an optimization, but to some other folks it ends up being a downside. Like for me, the multi-threading actually causes Landmark, while it runs better, it runs awesome, it causes the entire rest of the system to chug. Like right now I'm at 3, 5, 11 FPS. You know, audio might even be breaking out. In fact, if audio is breaking up, folks, please do let me know, because I might have to find some way to turn off the multi-threaded rendering. That's it's kind of an unfortunate circumstance that while it makes the game run better, Landmark itself still isn't optimized, so it's taking the entire processor and just revving the hell out of that engine, but not really doing that much with it. I've got everything turned basically all the way down except textures, because ultra textures really shouldn't be a problem. Do I have the NVIDIA stuff turned on? Let's see. Video. Physics particles. Let me turn that off. See if that helps. I don't know if it'll automatically do that or I have to restart the game. Yeah. So, Mellow, Events, you guys got some Ogre action to check out? You guys got some builds to give a tour? Otherwise, I might just start kind of searching around. We have all sorts of places out there. People have tagged their builds, and I can just start kind of going through them and giving that feedback, because we are in competition mode. Alright. It's still eating the hell out of the frames, isn't it? Crap. Does anybody know how to turn off multi-threaded rendering? Things with no build, no voxel props, no shapes, and so on. I gotcha. My apologies for the issues here. I was streaming earlier and trying to fine tune everything, but things are still not quite at the point where I can stream and feel like it's running effectively. Oh, concept art. You know, that's a good idea. I could bring that up real quick. Let's see. Let's see. Is this the one? You said the interior? Let's see. I'm just kind of browsing through thumbnails here. That's not it. Cityscape? I mean, was it this one? Is that the one that you're talking about, Mello? I mean, that's pretty cool in itself. No, it's a new one. Ooh. Link it, please. Yes, yes, yes. I'd love to see that because that would definitely help with, you know, the feedback and all that good stuff. Damn, what is the? Oh, holy crap! I have a bunch of logging failures saved in my folder for some reason. Oh, yeah. That's right. There we go. Still not all of it fits. There. So this is what you're working on. I like the fish rug. That's kind of funny. So chain just kind of hanging off of things. That chair's got to be kind of interesting. That window. Yeah, I kind of thought the same a little bit. Hi there, WarcraftMan86. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. I'm Neurotoxin in game. Of course, you can add me. So looking at the the thing is, when we go back, let me go back to that cityscape for a moment. You don't see any circles that are oriented vertically anywhere. All of the circles you see, they're oriented flat. They're oriented horizontally. So you're seeing like a rim, like a hoop, like a basket everywhere. But you're not seeing a ring on a wall like that. Like you're not seeing a window or circles like that really anywhere in this entire build. So you're right, actually, that window really does look out of place for an ogre build. I don't see anywhere in this place right here that we're looking at where it would make sense at all either. Let me zoom it in a little further just to make sure. I see one circular thing, and that's just this decoration right here, and it's almost more like a capital Q. Look tall and epic. Round doesn't accomplish that. Yeah, it's definitely a contrast. Also, this column, it's got a little bit of the width here and a little bit of the width here. It almost feels like it bows in the middle, which is kind of counterintuitive to what they said. These definitely look a little bit more like the columns they're talking about, but it looks like it has not quite the two-thirds proportion that they were looking for, and it doesn't seem like one of those taller ones like these where you would be able to get away with changing and having a different proportion to it. So they've given us, the style guide is a loose, rough kind of concept of what things will look like, but I definitely think that the horizontal ring, hoop, bucket, basket sort of shape, it's one that does communicate properly for the build. However, a vertically oriented circle like we see, I'm going to go back to that room for a moment, that interior. I agree, that really does look out of place. Let me shrink this down. Hey, hey! Alright. So when we look back at it here, that door, okay, that makes sense. I mean, it's definitely tall enough. An arch makes sense. Arches are fine. They're very sound, very structural, very stable. that it just cuts through the wall in such a weird way. I'd sooner see, you know what? I would sooner see a rectangular cut there and a window made of chains, where you've got, you know, chains kind of where the crossbars would be. You found the pillow odd? You mean this? Or this? I mean, this on the chair, it's like just a little bit so your back isn't against the cold stone, I guess. Assuming that is stone. I mean, this looks like it's stone, not wood. Technically, it could be either one. It's really not given much detail. I guess that kind of looks a little cracky and worn like stone. Oh, crap. Heh. I guess you're not going to see my mouse. Oh. Warcraft, man. Welcome, welcome. Whoops. So are you talking about the cushion in the middle of the room? Because it does look a little weird. See how those candles have things below them? They're not just, you know, candles on wood. Alright, I'll shut up about that. Actually, I do see some candles up there, but those are dripping down on stone, it looks like. I don't, or those might just be storage for candles too. Those might not actually get lit. Yeah. Hmm. So does anybody know exactly what the file is that needs to be adjusted to turn off the multi-threaded rendering? User options. Quality 1. Yeah. Set the max FPS to like 60. Yeah, Beowulf's, it makes my GPU the bottleneck too, but it also makes everything else like OBS and DeepBot run like crap. Just Yeah, it's using, that's what it is that what we now have is that the game can use all of our cores, which means when you're just running the game itself, it's going to run super awesome. But if you're trying to run the game and other software at the same time, it makes it chunky. It's a kind of a weird episode here, everybody. Not gonna lie. I don't know if it is something I can disable. Uh, I guess I can't really remember what the difference between multi-threading and hyper-threading is. One's a fancy term for the other or something. I don't know. Well, let's let's see if limiting the frames to 60 will be enough to keep everything from getting killed on the rest of the system. Because otherwise, I don't know. This is going to be a weird episode that's going to run really, really chunky. Alright, let's get back into it. Good stuff. So for anybody who's just tuning in or was tuned in but was kind of waiting for the action to pick back up here, this is Content and Creations, Episode 10, Ogre Style, and we're going to actually start getting into some tours here. Alright. Oh, it's holding. Let's see how well it does. Let's just kind of start and go down the line. No, this is a Nagafen hat. You can only get them from SOE events. They had them at SOE Live. I think they might have had them at a couple other places. I know I got an extra one at the Year of EverQuest event back in January that I still haven't converted into a contest giveaway item yet. That'll be coming soon. I still haven't celebrated 1,000 followers and getting inching ever close to 2,000, so yeah. Yep. And it's freaking out. Alright, so let's take a look at what he's got going on here. So, some stairs leading up. A couple of different materials being used. I don't know if the light dark contrast quite works, but that might just be a temporary coloration sort of thing. The main focus is really these columns here. Let's take a look at them. That's pretty cool. That definitely looks to the style. These extra little spiky adornments on here. Again, horizontally oriented rings, hoops, and circles. Looks good. Fits for the style. It's very appropriate. I like it. The brick. I'm not sure if the brick is the proper material to use for the upper part here, or if it would be something a little bit more sturdy, or you know, a single piece sort of item rather, not necessarily more sturdy. But it doesn't necessarily mean that this doesn't work. It looks good. I just feel like it's a little noisy in the space there. We've got kind of clean and then busy, and then we've got more busy up here. So I think if we had some kind of clean in the middle and it kind of alternates between busy and clean, busy and clean, busy and clean, it would definitely give it a lot more kind of dynamic appeal, and it would give the eye more of a place to look when you find it. Right now, you just kind of, you know, I guess because this is behind, it's kind of hard to say, but I feel like I'm looking a lot more in this area rather than this area or here. And then if I'm not looking here, then I'm looking here, but I think the eye, because this is getting drawn over here. Concrete or marble? Yeah, pretty much in that ivory material, if they haven't added it already. Seems like more of the ideal sort of thing that we would want to use. This looks like custom voxel brickwork here. That's pretty neat. I don't know if it's actually necessary, but it's definitely pretty cool. I can see this is this part's just a work in progress. That's kind of a neat pattern. I can see that. Let's kind of look at the tops of these here. Hey there, Meta. How's it going? Is that custom brickwork being used here too? It kind of looks like it a little bit. I like that. I like it goes to the brick, to the kind of cleaner stone, and then back to more brick. Then again, this part also looks really cool. That actually kind of makes this more of the cleaner part in the middle. But that definitely could all be adjusted. So what you working on, Kremchuk? Are you still working on the arena? Or are you gonna do a little bit of ogre stuff? Ooh, these are also really cool bases. I don't know that it's wrong to have things that are kind of square with the rounded corners rather than being completely circular. It definitely looks appropriate for an ogre build, but I could also see it transitioning to be fully cylindrical as you get kind of moving forward there. Gotcha. Let's get the location here, folks. Yes, Matt, I mean, Landmark is also going to be used to make plenty of other stuff, and people will be able to make their own games with it too. Damn it. Has anybody else been having trouble with Facebook not connecting properly? How's the frame rate been, everybody? Has it been shaky, or has it been kind of stable? Because I think it was just a matter of limiting it from a max of 250 FPS to 60 that was able to really help clean things up. Creme. Alright. Let's move it along. Georgia 4. Concept Ogre main claim. Wait a sec, I didn't actually take that screenshot, did I? I'll have to go back at some point. Tazib, you actually have to go into your basically in your settings file, I can't remember the name of it, and tell it to use the FPS limit of 60 or whatever you want it to be. You could go even lower if you wanted. I just went with 60 so that way it'll look good, but it won't, you know, spike up high. Alright, everybody. Let's check this place out. So, I'm not really sure where to start with this one. I'm guessing the entrance is... I have no idea where the entrance is. Let's just start over here, right? Right. That's kind of neat with the different sizes of steps. Alright. Shenanigans. Anyway, I really like these stairs so the smaller people can climb up that way, and the larger ogres. You know, my feet are twice as big as your face. Okay, this little cut right here going through, very nice. Good placement. This is like a little public bench sort of thing. I know ogres are big, but I don't think they would need this here. I would probably make this half the size and kind of line it up with these. Make them a little smaller and just have maybe a couple of sets of benches, like one here, one here, one here, one here. You know, ogres are big, but I don't know that they would be like, you know, sitting on this. It's like their ass would end about here, and I don't think they would need all the rest of this bench for anything. So the proportions of these columns is definitely what they're looking for. It's maybe not sharp enough here. They're looking for, well, you know, circular this way, but they actually kind of want geometric angles. So this could even be a little flatter, going from here to here, and then from here to here. And I think that would potentially conform a little bit better with the overall ogre style. I like these column shapes at the top here. Those are really cool. I'm not sure if it's better for them to be oriented this way or for them better to be oriented, I guess, this way, so that way when you see them from a distance you get that parallaxing effect, because you're going to kind of lose that if you're standing down there and they're oriented the other way. They can jump. The Dark Wars, yeah, good one. Good point. These large fire pits here, the lava used to give it a kind of a smoldering sort of look to it. It's pretty cool. Cool stuff. I know the roundness is a little wonky on them, but I definitely like these little platforms kind of holding up the columns there. So we've got brick wall, got this brick archway. That's pretty neat. That looks like a combination of using the material and the kind of use of custom voxel work. I like it. I don't know though. Is this ornate enough? Is this fancy enough for how fancy these arches or these columns look here, or is this it looks great, but you know, now that I kind of look at the rest of everything, and you know, when you look in here, the beautiful looking inlay they have in the roof, or the support they have in the roof there, this really doesn't, I feel, do the justice it needs to for the you know, the main archway entrance into Big Ogre City. And while we're here, something that they definitely commented on to avoid, because it would be kind of a hazard, is the bricks for the roof. Bricks are great to build up, but building sideways, every brick that you build is going to kind of compromise the structural integrity of all of the other bricks because it's adding more weight. And beyond that, the just the process, like, think of how difficult it would be to actually lay bricks like a roof sort of thing, like to actually have supports or something underneath them so that the cement and everything can actually set in place, so they can actually the bricks can actually hold. Otherwise, they're just gonna fall right through. You know, you might be right about that myth forger. We'll actually examine that in detail here in just a moment. I like that little extra kind of detail going around. I hope they do more with that area and add a little bit more detail above and around these columns here. So I do like these roofs. They look pretty cool, or the ceiling here, but it doesn't look quite Ogre. I think they would have a much wider, broader sort of pattern going on. Maybe something that doesn't quite have that same level of repetition. This actually, to me, looks straight up Victorian. It looks like I'm in some sort of Victorian manor or something right here. Just looking at this. So let's kind of break it down though. So it's not just the pattern. The pattern is a little repetitious because it's just diamonds and diamonds and diamonds intersecting with the grid. But beyond that, I think the colors being used here are not really the right combination. It seems like that red goes better when they put it with the darker stuff like the stone, or if it's being used for like you know, curtains or cushions on chairs. I don't know if a structural sort of element like this, if the red looks good. That is the fabric, right? No, that's burled wood. I think it just contrasts too much. I thought it was the red fabric. It might as well be. It's just way too red there. I think you know what? Let me turn up the gamma a little bit so you folks can see the game a little bit better, because I can tell it's a little dark on your end. Let me bring this up to like 33. There we go. Now you folks should be able to see this a little bit better, right? Yeah, a rich human's roof. That's what I said, like Victorian is what it makes me think of. There's one other thing that's kind of wrong with this roof to me, or ceiling rather, and that's that there's not enough supports. We have all of these beautiful columns. I would imagine some like just columns for decoration, or potentially to support some of the other stuff going up above this. It's really weird to have this open a space with this big of a repetitious pattern and nothing to cut it. No chandeliers, no columns, no you know, larger details of any sort. It's kind of an interesting sort of thing. Alright, let's get back to some of the other details of the build. This, yes, this definitely looks appropriate. Though some of these triangles look a little rough in the shape there. We've got these triangle cut windows. Those look great. Those look pretty nice. And the columns kind of in between helping to continue support it. This mountain pattern that they've kind of got filled in here, that looks pretty nice. I really like that. I don't know though, is mountain something that I guess mountain's something that ogres actually care about. Firot's more of the forest and jungle sort of thing, but I guess they do have the if I'm not mistaken, they have mountains just to the west of Firot. So it it makes sense. Snowy mountains, though, I'm not sure if they would be snowy or if they would be more like grassy and green sorts of mountains, or what the actual look of them would be. But this definitely looks more like I don't know, what, like the Rocky Mountains or something, or something you'd see up in Alaska or Canada. Anyway, so these are a nice detail. I like those going around. This is also a little bit weird. Does this really seem like something that you would see in an ogre sort of build? It seems more maybe human, maybe dwarf. I don't know. I don't know if this is something that that goes in an ogre build, unless the idea is that each one of these is going to have a mural inside of it. If that's the case, then yeah, that would look pretty sweet. But if it's mostly going to be open and then there's just a little bit of art in one or two of them, not 100% sure. But this is a work in progress, so once again, it is really hard to tell. That's a nice set of shelves there, custom shelves. I like it. Dwarf windows, you say? I mean, it fits with what we've been given for the ogre style guide, with the geometric cuts and V shapes and triangles and stuff. So let's actually, before I move on, we should look at these columns. So these columns I guess they're a little bit taller than the ones out there because the base is a little bit lower. They definitely don't have the tapering that they were kind of looking for. It's almost got more of a bowling pin shape, honestly. If the angle could be made kind of flatter, getting up to here, and then flattening this angle from here to here, that would really help. And then these could stay circular and round the way they are, and these bases would probably be just fine the way they are, but just giving it more angle, more flatness with the circle, because the idea is that while they wanted to have that kind of look that is bowing out, they also want it to look sharp and tight. That would be pretty cool, Mythforger. So that's pretty cool. I like these columns with the grooves cut in them. That definitely feels like it fits the ogre style, though doesn't, in that they're straight columns. So I don't know. I think those probably would be actually more of a dwarf sort of thing. This, I would say, would probably need to be adjusted a bit, so there's less of the smaller human-sized and more of these ogre-sized, unless it's designed this way because the ogres just go from this one to this one to this one to this one. And if that's the case, then yeah, that's kind of a neat detail just to have on the side as an edge thing. Oh, that's their launcher to the spire. So what else is there to check out in this place? Alright, cool deal, Events. Thank you very much for coming through and hanging out, and you have a good stream yourself, buddy. Are you going to be building, or are you going to be working on some real world stuff, or you got some awesome stuff going on, I know. Whatever it is, hope it goes well. It is pretty cool. Seems like it could be a pretty awesome build once everything's all built up. Definitely excited to see what all comes of it. Staircases look dwarf. Hey there, FX Dragon. And I'm sure everybody knows you have to be following the channel if you actually want to win anything from the raffles and the goodies, but I expect everybody probably already is following the channel. Just make a double check, because sometimes Twitch will unfollow for no good reason. How are you doing, FX Dragon? Georgie 4. Ogre concept work in progress. Negative 364, 1536, negative 786. There we go. tons and tons and tons of them Lord underneath, but in terms of the player selectable, the playable races, I think there's going to be 8. Let's see if this publishes or not. If it doesn't publish, then I'm just going to have to take manual screenshots and post them later. Publish unsuccessful. Alright. Dark elves, ogres, Karens, dwarfs, humans, high elves, fae, what was the last one? Oh yeah, Ixar. Always forget those lizards. I don't know that we're getting gnomes as a playable starting race. Oops. Mellow, just go buy one. I just put up the hooked iron mace earlier today. Or a hooked iron club. It's got hooks all over it. You see, like those, and it's got a couple of little loops that you can put some other chains and stuff on it. It's mean. And you can get it for a very, very low price of 25 SC. Aww. I could probably make a 100% prop version. I'll have to work on that prop equipment. So how are we going to do screenshots then? Is it just control print screen? And where does it put them? I actually made it somewhere during the Karen build stuff when chains came out. Where's the default place for screenshots to end up? Does anybody know? Oh, screenshots in my landmark folder. Let me double check then. Let's see. Users, public, sweet, landmark, screenshots. Now my screenshots folder is empty. Pictures landmark. Yeah. Screenshot's not working. Oh, it's freaking Control F12 for some reason. Okay, well I guess I'll do it that way then. Perfect. Well, I'm not linked up to Steam, but I guess that was set to the default anyway when they changed it up to the Steam stuff. Alright. That's fine. Let's move along. And of course, if anybody has a an Ogre build that they would like toured and would like feedback on, please do let me know, because I would love to come around and do that. By the way, everybody, exclamation loot if you would like to try to win yourself glass movers, a 7-day beta key, or the October outfit, because I still have a bunch of those. Alright. Here we are. This is just a laboratory space Some various different cuts and shapes being worked on here. Definitely a great place to start. Some archways being worked on. Some looks like an aqueduct sort of system. Some putty. Yeah, just plenty. Just plenty, Wiki. How are you doing, buddy? You, did you stick around and get more of that action in for a while? That was fun last night. We were all hanging out with Kremchek during his little marathon thing. A bunch of us jumped on Skype and played a bunch of sandbox games. It was good fun. I like the shape of this. I don't know if you're really going to get to see it like that because this kind of seems like a cross-sectional cut, but it does look kind of cool. Laboratory space, that's what it is. We'll just move along. Don't you really need to take a screenshot? Stormlust. Stormlust. Like, is that an X-Men like super fan or something, or what? I don't get it. Whatever. Let's check out their build. All right. So it's a giant square platform. Let's get on up over to it. Check it out. Cram! What's up, Crim? I really like these columns. But the one thing I'll say about this column here, 100% decorative. You would use this as an accent between a very similar column that's sealed on the inside like this one. The reason why you wouldn't want to have this on their own, hey, what's up, S1, on their own would be because they're not really structural, they're not really holding things up. These little stone slots that are constantly they're going to be structurally set as something like this. So I would see this one on the left and right of this one to give more of the proper appearance and be able to balance things well. But I really like it. I think it's a great way to add a flame, add a light source to a set of columns in a very meaningful way. I really like the fact that they're definitely emphasizing the angles. Now, we've seen that these angles are important, but sometimes more of the cylindrical kind of look to it makes it work really, really well. Blue Yeti mic, folks. Help me get a Blue Yeti and we won't have to worry about the beard interference anymore. Looking to get one for Black Friday. I like this here. That's really, really neat. Good use of the metal material there to not only accentuate that kind of angle, but give it some extra detail, have it pop out. Really cool. Yeah, that's what I thought. Beard interference. Interbeardance. Now we get to this. Pavers for the walkway. That works. The red fabric material going up. That works, though I would imagine that would get like dusty and dirty and tore up real quickly. Warcraft, man, you already entered. But everybody else, if you want to get after 7-day beta key, glass movers, or the Halloween outfit, definitely do exclamation loot. So these ones and then these ones, it would look great if we had another set of these right over here, so we could, you know, see it kind of supporting between these, or these kind of being held in between the ones that are more supportive, rather. I don't think this tree is actually supposed to be here. I suppose this one's also inappropriately positioned. I really like that obsidian, tracing it around. Until I saw a shine of it from the sun there, I didn't really notice, but yeah, that's actually a great detail, adding a little bit of extra, not only color contrast, but the lighting contrast, because the reflection that it catches. That's not obsidian, actually. I believe that's iron. I believe that's is that dull iron, or yeah, I guess that's shiny iron, isn't it? Well, let's see. Hammered brass. Oh wow. It does not look like hammered brass. Is that what brass looks like when she's hammered? Yeah. It's not. I've seen. Alright, it's gonna be the manual screenshot. Okay. So I guess after the show, I'm just gonna post a blast of all of the screenshots, or maybe I'll do that during the short break. I'll take a few more minutes to post everything. But we've seen that which there is to see here. Everybody, it is time that we move on. Hannah's Ogre Workshop. Ooh, that should be nice. Can you folks hear that from outside? If so, I can close the window. I don't know if it's actually doing anything. It seems like it's actually warmed up enough that I might need to turn on the air conditioning. It was cold yesterday. Well, not cold, but cool relative to Southern California for the past few months. Soul Tells Smile. Hello. Welcome, welcome. Alright. Let's look at some of the action. First off, awesome. This is definitely that loop, hoop, basket, that kind of horizontally oriented circle that has kind of the, not necessarily even spikes so much as that they're triangular shapes adorning it. Just that, you know, triangular shapes on something like this end up tending to be spikes. But we don't necessarily have the outward jutting spikes. I could see that for the one going here for the stand, but Chosen 01, welcome, welcome. These two here and these two here, I honestly, personally could do without. I think the metal, the straps going up to here is good. Going up to here, it's a little interesting. I definitely feel like the filler in here needs to be something else. That's definitely a nice detail. It's going along with what we're seeing in the style guide and kind of embellishing on it a bit. Is there like some sort of a table or something, I guess? When I first looked at this column here, the words that popped in my head, "Hey, I'm not fat." Yeah, it's fat. It's kind of a fat pillar. Alright. So I like these chains. Those are fancy voxel chains holding this thing up. Very cool. Very, very ogre festive. I don't know. Would they be using the gold like this? And is this the sort of way they would resolve a shape? I don't know if... I think they would resolve it more of a triangle here if they could. Not sure if that's supposed to be a representative symbol of something. I do like the spiral, but I don't know. I guess the spiral works. Some sort of animal-like head here, looks like. It's pretty cool. Very cool detail. I'm not 100% sure if it's the right colors and the right look for it. I guess so. If they're supposed to be like fantasy Romans or something, like just gladiator culture turned into a race. I like these. The green looks really nice. It's a good contrast. The columns themselves, they kind of angle out here, but then they're straight here. Somehow they still, in some ways, look right, but in other ways, these look even more dwarf than some of the other ones that we saw, more dwarf style. I like that a lot. That is an awesome corner decoration. That's big time. I could see that actually going up on Player Studio. That's really cool. That's really neat too. Would they go for a doorway treatment like that? Is that too fancy for an ogre? Is that just fancy enough? Would it be connected in the middle by parts, or would it actually have that kind of open space like that? I wonder. The wall itself is really nice. You just kind of look at it as it is. I like that kind of bone shape. It's like the reverse tapestry. Instead of some stick holding a piece of fabric that's hanging down, we've got a piece of fabric that's holding some bone or whatever this is, or some stick that's shaped like a bone here. Good stuff. Little spiky bits here and there. Yeah, the fabric holding it does look pretty cool. And with the chains actually holding the rod that's holding all of that, it's a really nice way to kind of do something with the door there. And it's got the proper open air sort of look. You know, from down here, these actually, in some ways they look right. In some ways, when you look up at them from down here, it looks like a bunch of bongs lining up on the wall. Definitely, I think the having a flatter angle getting to the taper point and a flatter angle getting down from it would really help. Let's see some of the stuff we've got here. That's really nice. It's like a tree pattern going on. We've got like a wave pattern going on. This one and this one look like they could have been used in the Karen stuff quite a bit. Skittles or bowling pins. And then this one here, it's got like this kind of hooked cross sort of look to it. It's actually pretty neat. It looks a little wide though. It looks like it's one voxel wider than it is tall. Oh yeah. Much better. That's a really nice bed. So there's that same kind of hooked cross shape on it. And I don't really know if that's something that actually is Ogre or not. I don't remember seeing that in any of the art. That doesn't mean that it isn't appropriate. That's pretty neat with the chain going across. I don't know, like, if this is supposed to be some sort of a naughty bed or just a regular bed, but usually when I see something like that on a bed, I'm guessing something freaky is gonna happen. That's a nice bench. I don't know, the back doesn't really seem like it goes high enough up for an ogre. If their butt goes to here, you would expect the backrest would need to go a fair bit up too. Make patterns smaller. Warcraftman 68, the only way you would be able to get that intricate workstone smaller than 10 by 10 by 1 would be requesting for them to do a smaller scale version of it and for them to actually do it. Unfortunately, we don't really have that sort of control over the voxels. Eventually, I think we will get the tools to be able to convert voxels into mesh, and then take that voxel mesh and scale it and do whatever we want with it, and then you would probably be able to do something to kind of get to what you're looking for. But I don't know how far out we would be from features like that. Oh, I see. So this is a little planter here. That's cool. I wasn't sure if it was that or like a hand washing trough or something. So, meat. Lots and lots of meat. Delicious, delicious roasted meat. Even the lava is huge. Yeah, that lava is giant. And I thought it was going to be giant like that because it was animated, so it really wouldn't matter because, you know, you'd be seeing the motion of it. But it is neither. It is low res and it is not animated. That looks really cool with the kind of the underspace of the table there. I don't know though if, I guess, yeah, those would be enough to reinforce it and hold it up. But I would think ogres would want to have their foot space. They wouldn't want to have this damn thing in the way here. So the thing I would say then is probably making the top half of the table here, maybe adding an extra 2 voxels of width here, kind of going along the length of it, or even 4 voxels, so that way the top half here is you know, it's a little bit wider. It goes 2 voxels out and kind of but then again, if this is how tall they're sitting on, I don't know, these seem a little bit tall for ogre seats even. I think maybe 1 voxel shorter. So yeah, it's tough to say, tough to say. They would at least want a couple voxel space so their feet would have a little bit of room and their knees could be up to the table. That's a really short table though to be accessing everything like that. If their butt's this high, then this table would probably be taller, wouldn't it? It's really hard to say. Really hard to say. It's a lovely build though. All right. I think I was able to pretty much capture everything about the build in a single shot. Warcraft, man. Well, it's because this is a completely different set of tools, and the materials and everything we have to work with is nothing like working in, say, Photoshop. All right. Chosen. Yeah, the sandboxy nature of it. There was a lot less to do initially, so people have stuck with it as they've added more features. It's like, oh yeah, you know, I know all these things, but I can see how somebody who's new to the game is like, okay, some dude with the ponytail talked for like 10 minutes, and then what do I do now? He said to go forth and explore, and I'm like, well, where do I do that? Ah, nice. Well, you can always drop 20 bucks and get a founders pack, or maybe they'll do another Steam sale. They did one and said we'll probably never do this again, and then they did another. They might have one more Steam founders pack sale, with which you would be able to get Landmark for $6. Uh, there we go. Alright. Hey, it's some of our good buddies here. Yeah. Yeah, Mellow. At the same time, G2A also rips off developers, and they're basically a gray market that buys codes for cheap and then sells them back for, less than full price, but still a profit. That none of the profit actually ends up going to the developer. It's actually a really big problem. I'm not going to get too much more into the detail then. So yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Ogre Illuminati. Actually, it looks like some sort of three-cornered baseball. These look like the little corners where the mountains would go. All right. Not quite Ogre Illuminati. Yeah, go for it, Taza, but I'm not going to prevent, if you're going to do that, it's your key. It's kind of an interesting, like a hook sort of thing. Hannah's is nearby. Yeah, I think Hannah's is actually the one I was trying to teleport to, but this is where I ended up. It's kind of funny how that works, isn't it? So, I guess the one thing about this chain, it looks great. Is there any way you would be able to add one more voxel of kind of interlinking of them, because when I look at it, it looks like this link isn't interlocking with this link so much as this link is built into this one, that they've been kind of cut away a little bit so that the thinner parts that are left can link together. It doesn't look like this thickness going all the way around. It looks like this thickness going up to here, and then it only gets about half that thickness in the part where they actually intersect each other. So if you could like give it maybe one, or I guess probably just one more kind of voxel of overlap between the chain segments, it would potentially give it a lot more fidelity and the appearance of actually being a chain. That's why I said it looks like a great chain sculpture, but it unfortunately doesn't really communicate to me as being a structural chain that's actually giant metal things interlinking and holding onto each other. I know you can do it. You guys are awesome builders. You folks. We have awesome builders in our community here. So, this column right here. You know how I kept saying flat angles, flat angles, flat angles? This is it. This is flat angles. You see, it's actually, it's a pretty flat approach getting up to here, and it's a pretty flat approach going down from there. It looks great. I could see this being used in an area where it doesn't have as much weight on top of it, because I think the more it kind of bows out, kind of almost communicates the heavier the weight of what's above it. So I could see this being used for more of a roof support, not like a column that's got another, you know, another floor or two built up above it. Cool stuff. I see some of the different shapes you guys have been working on there too. Crap. That's interesting. The chains wouldn't really hold themselves up like this unless you like selectively welded them or something. I don't know about these things here. I don't know if ogres would use magic that would hold things up. As we can read in the lore books for the game, ogres see magic as tricks, just cheap tricks. When Corlin, you know, blasts a whole bunch of things with magic, the ogres say, "Wow, good trick. Still just a trick." It's a Groska or whatever. Isn't that his name? Rec, there is no November Insider item because the Insider program is now discontinued. Perhaps it's meant to be a chandelier? I could see that. It's kind of upside down, but I guess, yeah, if it's meant to be a chandelier, it looks great. I suppose that is upside down, isn't it? Those look cool either way. Good stuff. Hey, Cereal. Oh, this isn't a swap horse iron. This is Calm and Lisk working on stuff. That looks pretty cool. Like some sort of writing. Oh, that's cool, Calm. Yeah, I didn't know they used any magic. But I guess then you wouldn't really use them as a magic using race. That's a nice detail there. I like that. It's got that kind of T shape's got like a V cut there. Lisk is saying, happy to give anything away, just see them in game. So Horror Siren, you just need to send a message and hit them up and come through and grab some stuff. Neat. Good reinforced doors. Those are short for an ogre door though. Spikes. So this is going back to what I was saying earlier. We see a lot of triangles and stuff like that in the ogre builds, but and you know, let me just bring back up. Let's see if I still have it up as my my art. Not this one, but let me switch it out. Bring up the ogre cityscape and scale it up. So something that I noticed, and this is a detail that I observed very early on, and I definitely want to communicate. We see, not only do we not see circles up on walls, like you don't see a circle window like that except in that one interior that kind of in the early part of the show we were talking about was a little weird. We do see a bit of spikes on you know, on these columns here in the distance, but I don't really see a lot of spikes actually being used in rows and arrays quite like this. I think it's more that they want to use that triangle shape and it just comes across as a spike. The other thing is we see on this here and up here and on here, there's a lot of things where it's like a dome, an upside down dome shape, a basket shape, a bucket shape, a hoop, a loop, a ring, basically horizontally oriented, but with little triangle shapes coming off to adorn it in different places. So when I look at this doorway, this archway here, the spikes really kind of throw me off because it doesn't, they don't communicate very well as a triangle shape when you're looking at them head on. If anything, I would see them pointing out to the sides or something. So you see the not only the triangle shape that's being created by them, but then in the gaps between the triangles there's kind of that inverted triangle space, that negative space that's being created. Here, let me remove the slide. So, you know, looking up and down here, if these spikes were sideways oriented this way, I think it would not only, it would communicate them as being triangles, and it's the communication of the triangle shape that's the most important. But then the other thing, is this negative space, this kind of trapezoid that gets left behind. That also looks pretty awesome and is a very good shape to communicate here. So I would say for something like this, point them outward, point them inward, maybe not inward, point them outward, I think, and it would give a lot more ogre flair to it. Because it doesn't seem like they build things with spikes meant to impale you so much as triangular shapes meant to communicate that triangle shape that they use. So we're going to get into our break here in a moment, and when we come back we will continue touring this build, giving feedback, looking at that main structure they've got going on there, and you know, seeing what else there is out there. There's a lot of awesome ogre builds that people have been working on, and there's really been a lot of great progress. So let's get ready to take a break here. We have winners, Warcraft Man 68. Niveliz, thank you very much for the follow. You do have to respond. Alright, so you let me know what item you would like, and let's see who our second winner is. Myth Forger. Same with you, Myth Forger. What would you like? You let me know during the break. I am going to go take that AFK break. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with more of this action. Glass platforms, you got it. Alright, see you in a few, folks.